Hello YouTube and welcome to the nation of free to play. I'm Mr. Mondstadt and today I have another video on how to clear the new version of Spiral Abyss with a detailed look at all the enemies, mechanics and tips and tricks. Let's go! So let's take a look at what expects us this time. 12-1 first half we have 2 Genshin mages and the Sidlali boss. Okay, and on the second side we have a Rune Scout, a Rune Defender and the PMA. 12-2 we get 3 little Saurians and the Mountain King. Okay, in the second half we get 1 Abyss Lector and the Seahorse. And in the third and last chamber we have 3 little mechs and then followed by the Icewind Suite. And in the second half we get the Secret Source Automaton Overseer device. Alright, what are the buffs? If the unit has 0 energy, 75% damage buff and second sight 75% bonus to normal cryo attacks. So this is the Skirk Abyss obviously, and Mavuika because her rerun is coming as well. So Mavuika gets the buff on the first half. I mean, technically Skirk also has 0 energy, but the enemies are not cryo friendly. What's the card? When a character deals cryo damage, count to 4, shockwave, alright, got it. So what do you play? First half is obviously made for Mavuika. If you have her, use her. The second side is made for Skirk, ideally with the Scoffier of course, and if you don't have Skirk, other cryo DPSs like Ayaka or Risley are good alternatives, but as long as you have some cryo application for the last boss, anything should work. What are the challenges for this Abyss? I think 12-1-1 the mage should be pretty easy, but the Sidlali boss is annoying as you have to break all the shields in order to deal damage to her. Pyro and Electro are the best elements here. The PMA is just wasting a lot of time when it splits, so you need a good amount of DPS for 3 stars. The Mountain King is very tanky this one, over 5 million hit points is a lot. He can hit you hard if you don't dodge, and when he spins he wastes a lot of time as well. Second half is the same as we just had for extra fun. Thanks Hoyo! Last chamber the Icewind Suite can hit pretty hard, so you either need to learn its attack patterns and dodge or use a shield. Also you need to break the shield with Pyro or Electro. 12-3-2 is new world boss. You need cryo application to interrupt its charging and then you're good to go. Alright, the best DPSs for this Abyss are probably Mavuika, Skirk, Arlecchino, Ayaka, Neuvillette, Risley, but Clarin or Varessa should also work for the first side. Ideally you want Escoffier, Farina, Chevreuse, Janssen, Bennett, maybe Xylonen. First instinct for me would be to play Overload in the first half and Freeze in the second. So Mavuika, Auron, Chevreuse and a flex, either Bennett, Fischl or Xiangling. If you have Janssen, she's a good option. Unfortunately I don't have her, so we have to play someone else. Second half would be Skirk, Farina, Sidlali, Escoffier. But since Skirk is not out yet, at the time of recording this, I will play Ayaka and probably Neuvillette. And before you ask in the comments, I don't think a pure 4-star clear is a realistic option. I'm not saying it's not possible, but you'd need C6 units and crazy good builds and skill. So if you're able to 36 star with 4 stars only, why are you watching this video? The best 4-star options are probably Janssen, Chevreuse, Bennett, Xiangling, maybe Gaming at C6, Lanyan, Fischl, Rosaria, Xingqiu, Charlotte and the usual Hyperbloom options. Hyperbloom could work in the second half, but you need enough cryo application as well, so it's not gonna be easy. I will test some teams, footage will be here in the background. Now let's talk about every chamber individually. 12-1-1. The Sidlali boss will be the main issue here. When it spawns, it will split into many clones of itself that you have to hit with Pyro or Electro and get them out of the way before the real enemy shows itself and is stunned. Then you want to deal as much damage as possible because its resistances will be down in this state. However, you won't have much time to deal damage before it gets its shield back up and you start from scratch. One trick, Sidlali and Auron both have the ability to freeze the clones. Just hold the button and mark the clones, then they will be locked in place for a short while, and it is easier for you to break their shields. Auron was given for free in the last event, so you should have him, and in overload teams he can be a very good 4-star option anyway. Bear in mind though that your reaction damage will be lower in overload than in Vape or Melt teams. So if you have Sidlali and don't need her for the second half, it's probably better to run her with Pyro DPS of choice. 12-1-2. The second half of Chamber 1 has the Perpetual Mechanical Array, and while it does not have any crazy elemental restrictions, it has 70% resistance against physical damage, and it also wastes a lot of time with its animations and especially when it splits. After you depleted 70% of its HP, it will summon 4 Ruined Sentinels. You only need to target the one with the ring around it. That's the only one that will take damage anyway, and that you need to defeat as fast as possible. Once it is down, the PMA will take damage again and its resistances are decreased significantly, so hopefully you can kill it in one cycle. Also, which Ruined Sentinel will get the ring is RNG, some are easier than others, but since the PMA is on the second half in this case, resetting until you get the best one is not really recommended. 12-1. Entering Chamber 2, you will face 3 little Saurians and Mountain King. Saurians will spawn first, so you have to waste 1 rotation or 1 more weaker burst on them before the main opponent with over 5 million HP will appear. The Mountain King is a pretty familiar enemy by now. While it should not be too difficult to dodge his attacks, the main thing to look out for are these 3 little balls that he will spit out. Once they are there, apply Pyro to all of them before he can shoot them at you, and after you apply Pyro, the balls will explode and deal significant damage to him. Plus, if you manage to do that to all 3 balls, the boss will be stunned a bit longer. So you basically need Pyro for this enemy, and you should make sure to have a Pyro skill or burst ready when he spawns the balls. So either use someone with a lot of application, or learn the attack patterns and maybe save your skill or burst if you need to until the balls are on field. 12-2. The second half features an Electro Abyss Lector as well as the Electro Seahorse. Both opponents are annoying and can take away a lot of your time. The Lector's HP is rather easy to get down at first, but once he reaches 20% HP, he will get an Electro Shield and you have to apply elements to it to get it down. The damage is not important for the shield, it is only about the elemental ticks. Pyro, Cryo and Dendro are the most effective elements and you need 36 hits for each of these elements. Since the second half of this abyss requires you to play Cryo to some extent anyways, this should be your best strategy. After the shield is down, the Lector is dead and the Seahorse will appear in the second wave. The Seahorse starts out with a strong Electro Pearl that will increase its resistance a lot. Even with Rush Shred, it will be difficult to defeat it in time, so you should try to break the Pearl as fast as possible. Once again, Cryo, Pyro and Dendro are the most efficient. If you get the shield down, the Seahorse will be stunned and has significantly lower resistance for a short while. If you fail to break it, it will fly up in the air and create 3 orbs that you need to destroy for it to go back down and destroy the Pearl. The goal should be to get the Pearl down before it flies in the air, because these animations waste even more time. 12-3-1. Let's finish this abyss with Chamber 3. In the first half we got the Coppelius couple. These two can hit pretty hard, so a healer or strong shielder is recommended. There are 2 important states in this fight. The first state is called Coppelius Climax. Here, Anemo Warwolves will be spawned on field, dealing either Anemo or Cryo damage once infused. Both mechs will also perform their attack sequences and their resistance is increased if not interrupted. How do you interrupt it? Use Numia attacks. A total of 3 Numia attacks will stun the couple for a short while, where you can deal the majority of your damage. Numia units are Farina in her healing state, Linnae, Emily, Charlotte or Neviette. The second state is called Peleus Climax. Here Cryo Frostbearers will be spawned. He will do his attack sequence and gain a Cryo Shield. You can break the shield with Pyro or Uzi attacks. A total of 3 Uzier attacks will stun the couple once again. Uzier units are Farina in her sub-DPS state, Chevrus, Escoffier, Navia, Wriothesley, Lynette, Chlorant, or Siegeman. So for this chamber, Chlorant and Chevrus are decent options, but Emily might be useful as well. 12-3-2. In the last chamber we face a secret source automaton overseer device. The ones of you who built Escoffier already know this boss, and it has some annoying mechanics. In its so-called sweeper mode, it moves to the center and fires 2 beams of water, and it starts gaining flow momentum points. The more flow momentum points this thing gets, the worse for you, as the damage of its beams increases and its resistance is also higher. The way to stop this process is to use cryo attacks against it and stun it this way. You will need quite a bit of cryo attacks, so make sure you have at least 1 unit in your party that can continuously apply it. If you don't have Skirk, Escoffier, Silali, Charlotte, Ayaka or Wriothesley are good options, but Rosaria and Kaya can also work. Once the device is down, the resistance is decreased to -30% and even -70% against cryo. The second annoying thing is the automaton's counter-strike mode. While it shoots its border beams in sweeper mode, it will also gain countermeasure points when the character is in Night Soul Blessing state. This means it is basically an anti-Netland mechanic, so you cannot just play Mawika. Obviously, the more Nutland units, the worse for you. I still think that Sidlali's kit and her cryo application outweighs this, so you could still use her and just bring down the enemy as fast as possible before this mechanic becomes a problem for you. All the other Nutland units are not really ideal for the second half of Abyss anyways, so it probably sounds worse than it is. So yeah, these are all the challenges and tips for this Spiral Abyss. Obviously follow my general advice for Abyss as well. I made a video on that topic, so check it out if you haven't already. For me, this Abyss was not too crazy difficult, but I also have all the units Hoyo wants me to use, so Mawika, Sidla, Liverina, Escoffier and so on. I hope this would help you with the Spiral Abyss. I'd really appreciate your feedback. Also, feel free to ask me anything regarding team building, rotations, etc. in the comments down below. I'm always happy to help. If you like this video, please leave a like or subscribe to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!